Casinos highlight downtown Reno. They have for 4+ decades. And rumors of underground tunnels linking different properties are common. Most, if not all, that were built are filled in by now. But there are still hidden gems below the streets, including under one building, older than almost every casino in Reno.
At that point, you're still in the shadow of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and these are things that are real threats to people at that time. We do a lot of fundraisers here, and so everyone gets a kick out of it.
Jeff Scott is the director of the Washoe County Library. It opened back in 1966. And the bomb shelter dug out underneath was common for the time.
It's a bit of a step going over here, so once you get over that, that's a little easier.
But crawling into it is anything but. At the first sight, the absolute essentials, apparently, to survival.
Drums for water, hard candy, other equipment with instructions on how to operate all the material. Our librarian, Mark TR, has actually tried it, and it is terrible, so.
And we're still not all the way into the shelter. We follow Jeff down a staircase where it gets dark and quick.
Usually when we have people go in, we'll put them on the headlamps so they can kind of see. And this goes around the corner, and there's two over there. When you get into the further one, then you can stand up all the way. But as you can see, I'm 6'2", and it's not that comfortable.
All right, well, I'm 6'3", so it shouldn't be any easier. After crawling and then walking through each series of tunnels, we reach the end. And if you're seeking shelter underneath the library, don't expect much comfort or luxury.
This is the very end. This is actually connected to the ventilation system. So when you look up here, you can see all the way up to the 4th floor of the building. So it's a great ventilation system, but again, in a nuclear attack, that's not exactly optimal, but that's what we have.
Meanwhile, what's a half mile away and 3 levels below 2nd and Center?
This is sub area, sub basement we call it.
Will blow your mind. And if you're not careful enough, your eardrums.
We had to cut a hole to get it down through here. A big hole, heavy son of a gun.
4 years before the library opened, Harrah's Reno needed a new backup generator for the hotel casino. Back in 1962, Bill Harrah, in the most Bill Harrah way possible, bought this 20-year-old World War II submarine engine.
I think he liked it. He liked big and better things. So when he saw this, he said, this is it. Granted, we could have probably got 2 little ones put in here. He wanted something bigger and better and nobody else had.
Alan Isley worked here when the engine was installed. He helped with it. And he still turns it on for a half hour once a week. The engine is still capable of serving the building, and it is quite a treasure hidden well below the surface of downtown Reno. For Knowing Nevada, I'm Ryan Kern. The Reno High School Band has a colorful history, one not even its current members know about. But now, it's coming full circle.
Like 10 minutes before they came in, our teacher Miss Cowell just sort of sprung it on us. She's like, so we've got some really cool people coming to talk to us, and I was like, wow, that sounds awesome.
All right, so I'm gonna allow them to introduce themselves to you.
More than 50 years ago, Walt Disney was in charge of organizing the opening and closing ceremonies at the 1960 Squaw Winter Olympics. So he decided to invite the Reno High School Band to help kick off the 8th Winter Games. Now, 6 from that 1960 group are back home.
I was no more than 5 feet away from all the Russian athletes with their big bearskin hats, and I thought, this is a historic event and something that I don't think any of us here will ever forget.
We were having a winter like this with no snow to speak of, and the world was showing up, and it was the day before it really started snowing. Well, we were back the next day, and it was still snowing.
Until 1:45 in the afternoon, and at that time the sky just opened up magically for an hour.
They certainly weren't alone. Dozens of high school bands from California played, but out of Nevada, Reno joined Carson, Churchill County, Humboldt County, Mineral County, and Elko high schools. But because of the lack of snow, the downhill event almost happened in Nevada on what is now the slide side of Mount Rose.
It was fairly safe. It would have been a fast downhill. Had a couple of radical spots on it, but that was about it.
And it would have gone well beyond where the end of the run is now, past the new Winters Creek Lodge, down into what they called the hole.
Started up here at the top, way up over here.
It was called the Reno Ski Bowl back then. Rusty Crook worked on the mountain for decades and recommended the route.
It would have been a lot of work. I mean, around the clock work to get it prepared. But, you know, SCAR was pretty much determined to put it on, even though they didn't have enough snow.
They also, I believe, improved the airport because it became an international airport for this event.
Skiing, winter sports, snow, it's all in our DNA, and it all goes back to 1960, and that's when this terminal was built in honor of the Olympics. We had to have an airport to land athletes coming in from around the world.
Before the Squaw Games, the then Cannon Airport in Reno was a Quonset hut with a few runways and hangars. The terminal was built in time for the 1960 Olympics and has grown into what it is today. But still, those skiing routes are well represented throughout the airport, including the flags of all 30 participating countries hanging above.
They put this region on the map for winter sports, but also it introduced this region to so many people. The beauty of this area. So once it was introduced, we had the airport here to accommodate those larger aircraft. It changed the game for this entire region, and the airport was part of that.
This is me and Kurt.
Wow.
So it's out with the old and in with the new. That's for both the Olympics and the Reno High School Band. But the two can still come together every now and then. For Knowing Nevada, I'm Ryan Kern. In dry winters, making snow is crucial. It's been happening for decades, and for anyone looking for the history of snow across the northern Sierra.
If they came in here and looked at everything I had, they better plan on spending a couple of 3 weeks or a month.
There are around 3,000 pictures inside Norm Saylor's Donner Summit Historical Society. Every ski operation around Lake Tahoe, that's both past and present, is documented inside. That is all but one.
I was so new to the skiing, I had no idea what skiing was. Well, now I know they're crazy at this elevation, yeah.
Back in 1958, it was a dry winter, and snowmaking technology had not yet made it to Tahoe. So 3 ski entrepreneurs decided to capitalize.
People thought it was a great idea, and especially young people, they wanted to come out and try it.
The Sierra ski pioneers Bud Schoenfeld and Hal Cotting started teaching skiing near Lake Tahoe at Sky Tavern in the 40s. A decade later, the guys partnered with Jerry Wetzel on a new and innovative venture, using a mountain that's unthinkable today.
You know what he had us doing, Sylvia and I? We were making ski bags.
Well, I remember selling them.
Yeah.
Bud's wife, Grace, and Cotting's daughter, Cindy Mirren, look back on those days fondly.
Yeah, there was a lot of optimism, and I just kind of kept my mouth shut because I just didn't know what was going on.
Lake Tahoe sits at 6,200 feet in elevation. Nearly 2,000 feet below lies Reno, Nevada.
Crazy.
Snowmaking started back east in the early 50s. Uncle Bud learned the trade there, came home, and in that dry winter of 1958, he gave it a shot on the West Coast, on the valley floor of Reno, on Rattlesnake Mountain.
Just to say they skied on Rattlesnake was a big kudo. You know, when you go to school the next day and say, hey, I went skiing on Rattlesnake Mountain, they thought it was a big deal.
Mirren was only 11 back then. After the guys demoed the east side of the mountain, they started making snow, which quickly proved to be tough.
It was fun. There wasn't much snow and there was a lot of dirt, but it was fun to make a few turns. It was a kick.
It was kind of warm at times, so they made some and then there would be a warm spell, and then they'd make some more, that sort of thing. So how long it would take them to get 6 inches? Probably forever.
There's a hiking trail here now, right in the middle of where that run was 60 years ago. The mountain still takes on natural snow every now and then, but nothing that sticks around for longer than a day or 2.
But after 6 decades, we figured it's time to take those pictures,
here you go,
to where they belong.
Wow, look at that. You know, this is quite a privilege for me. Bud Schoenfeld and Hal Cotting and Jerry Wetzel are all old friends of mine from way back. I never ever heard of this. They were ready to go. Look at this. That is absolutely awesome. And look at the snow guns they have there on the side. And this is 1958. Wow.
The run was only several hundred feet long and about 6 inches deep. And between the heat and an unexpected rainstorm, the snow melted off. And then one day, the compressor attached to the car they used to power the rope tow blew up.
It hit the car and everything went to kaput. Yeah, nobody else wanted to volunteer another car.
In the end, the Rattlesnake Mountain ski hill lasted 3 weeks. It lost money, made ski industry history, and is still, for one family, the memory of a lifetime.
Here are 3 guys who absolutely love winter and snow and skiing, and they wanted to bring something to our community. They just love snow, and so if they couldn't just have it, they tried to make it. It was a great thing.